Hi, I'm Russell. I'd like to show you a powwow. Reconciliation Day, it takes place September 30th. It's nationally recognized and has been since 2021, so it's still a new event for many Canadians, and the concept of reconciliation is still a very new idea as well. To celebrate and inform, a powwow took place over the weekend in Saskatoon. Orange Shirt Day is an opportunity to create meaningful discussion about the effects of residential schools and the legacy they have left behind. A discussion all Canadians can tune into and create bridges with each other for reconciliation. A day for survivors to be reaffirmed that they matter, and so do those that have been affected. Every child matters, even if they are an adult from now on. The powwow began at 12 noon and ran into the evening. Admission was free and people could come and go as they pleased. The doors didn't close at a certain time. I recommend eating before going and dressing for the weather. Even an indoor arena can get quite cool. The ceremony began with the grand entry.
Grand entry time! Here we go! Of course today, this time of reconciliation, this time that we come to spend together with one another. Here once again bring our children here for the purpose of teaching, of understanding of who we are, and of course to continue to walk this way on behalf of our ancestors and what they have left for each and every one of us, to carry on a tradition so that our young people can walk with us in a good way, that they will carry on these traditions for many, many generations yet to come. And also represent their people, their communities, to bring understanding, of course, to our young people as well.
Flags representing different countries, Indigenous territories, and organizations were carried. One notable flag was the 1886 Union Jack Treaty flag. I've never seen this display of representation at any Canada Day parade. At all, not even close. The grand entry would be a really good addition if it were adopted into Canada Day festivities on July 1st, especially the treaty flag. That represents agreements Canada should strive to uphold. After the grand entry, elders and council members spoke about passing on knowledge to future generations, reducing drug and alcohol use, learning traditions from elders, residential schools, and missing Indigenous women and girls.
But this year I was happy with the sentences were filled with our people are starting to come home slowly again. They had left that life, they had left that knowledge that the elders had one time. They started to come back.
Red shirts, or dresses, are also worn to represent missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
That's why I'm wearing my red dress today as well. Think about residential schools and what it's done to our people. We have to acknowledge that all of this stuff that's happening today, these rippling effects of residential schools and colonial policy, is why we continue to have missing and murdered Indigenous people in our country, and it's ongoing. So today we will dance for healing for those families who have to wake up every day and not know where their child is.
This young girl left. 2 hours later there was no call. The police came to the door and knocked. They were more concerned about this young lady. They asked the grandma, the mother, to come along with them. So they drove them down to an alley not too far away. And there was a young lady lying there. Beaten beyond recognition, was killed in that alley. She was murdered. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the only way that they had recognized this young girl was the red dress that she always wore.
As people spoke, I looked around to see an overwhelmingly Indigenous crowd. Great people were there. The event was fun. It would have been nice to see other people, non-Indigenous people, who could have seen the dances and been welcomed and heard the elders, council members speaking, and what Orange Shirt Day means, and what the significance is of a red dress, and why missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls matter, why it matters, because there are many people who don't think residential schools were a bad thing, or that any Indigenous people are going missing. They believe it's all being blown out of proportion, and there's a very stark contrast between the attitudes at the powwow and people outside of the powwow. It's a very important event, and it would be great to see more people involved. If you've never been, you will be welcomed. You're not going to be, you won't feel like an outsider at all. That's not the attitude of anybody there. There were different styles of drumming and dancing for men and women, young and old. There was a competition, a dance-off, that lasted nearly 30 minutes, and a crowd erupted with applause at the end.
Your third place champion from the Pegasus was Vulcan Thunderchild. Here's some of our representatives from Saskatoon Tribal Council to wrap you in this championship blanket. You are the STC Endurance Ironman Chicken Champion. What do you say, Saskatoon? Give a round of applause for all of our chicken dancers, and give it up, Saskatoon, for all of our singers.
If you're watching this video and you haven't been to a powwow, you should absolutely go. You won't regret it. It's a good time. There are important messages and energetic dances. There are several links in the description. Please check them out below and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. Thank you.